I'm Elton Sherwin, and this is the Bible and Homosexuality Part 5. What is with all the rules in Leviticus? Previously, we looked at the first two Old Testament clobber verses, the stories of Sodom and Gomorrah and the death of the Levite's concubine. Neither was about consensual homosexual relationships. Last session, we looked at the two remaining Old Testament clobber verses in the book of Leviticus. Leviticus 20:13. If a man lies with a male as with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall be put to death. Leviticus 18:22 is similar, but without the death penalty. Last session, we saw that these two verses in Leviticus that condemn male homosexual acts are surrounded by over 70 other rules. Leviticus bans cursing at your parents, death penalty for that, mistreating foreigners, selling land, working on the Sabbath. It's a long list. Most churches ignore most of the rules in Leviticus. Written over 2,000 years ago, some Levitical rules are now difficult to interpret. A woman who becomes pregnant and gives birth to a son, the woman must wait 33 days to be purified from her bleeding. She must not touch anything sacred or go to the sanctuary until the days of her purification are over. But if she gives birth to a daughter, then she must wait 66 days. 1 month of no intercourse and no church if you have a boy, and 2 months of no intercourse and no church if you have a girl. I would have thought it would be the other way around. Some parts of Leviticus are sinful, and some parts are illegal today. Anyone who curses their father or mother is to be put to death. That's both wrong and illegal. So what's going on with this jumble of over 70 rules or laws in Leviticus? Bible commentator Janet Edmonds comments on the Levitical laws. All these texts were concerned with ritual purity and were intended to distinguish Israel from its pagan neighbors. The holiness codes. Edmonds continues. Canaanite religions surrounding the Israelites often included sex with temple prostitutes, sex with family members, and homosexual sex, which was performed at the Canaanite temples and thought to bring good luck to help crop and livestock production. Wow. Canaanite temple sex. Dear, I'm off to the Canaanite temple to have sex with a shrine prostitute and see if it will improve this year's crops. Or maybe, dear, you didn't let me go last year and the crops were very poor. You can see how this might have appeal to a certain kind of man. You can also see why Jewish leadership forbade the men of Israel from participating. And then there is toiva, abomination. Toiva is a technical cultic term for what is ritually unclean, such as mixed cloth, pork, and intercourse with a menstruating woman. It's not about a moral or ethical issue. That's a quote from Dr. Ralph Blair. You shall not lie with a male as with a woman, it is ritually unclean. That does change things a bit. Ritually unclean or an abomination. The rejection of the Leviticus holiness codes was central to the creation of the new covenant. In the Levitical holiness code, and here I'm quoting as I was a moment ago from Dr. Ralph Blair, such mixing of sex roles was thought to be polluting. Both Jesus and Paul rejected all such ritual distinctions. A disputed translation and a confusing context. The translation is disputed. Is it an abomination or ritually unclean? The context is a Jewish holiness code, and it may be talking about temple prostitution. It may be talking about rich men having sex with young boys, and it may be an STD warning. Perhaps all of the above. We really don't know. It is a high bar for the Bible to condemn all homosexuality. To claim that all homosexuals must abstain from all sex, never marry, forego all leadership in churches, the scriptures would have to be clear, undisputed in translation, affirmed by their context, and not contradicted by the prophets or Jesus. These clobber verses in Leviticus are disputed in translation, challenged tremendously by their context. And as we will see in the next few episodes, they are contradicted by the prophets and Jesus and even the Apostle Paul. As I said last time, there is no biblical case against homosexuality without these two verses. As we saw previously, the first two clobber verses were not about homosexuality at all. And similarly, we will see in upcoming episodes the three New Testament verses used to condemn homosexuality alternately refer to temple prostitution, sexual orgies, and human trafficking. I beseech you, I implore you, if you are straight, do not let the teachers of the law steal your ability to enjoy and love God's entire creation, including the 7% that are not like you. And if you are, or might be, somewhere in the rainbow, don't let the teachers of the law steal your self-confidence, your joy of life, or your faith. God created you uniquely and exactly as you are. Join us next time as we look at the first 4 of the 7 LGBTQ affirming verses in the Bible. And even if you have attended divinity school, these scriptures may surprise you. Click here for the next episode.